Ahora de Cuba la Bella, del Palacio de los Jugos, los chicharrones. Los vecinos aquí se enteran de todo.
Mi vecina era CDR en Cuba.
Y en verdad no hay nothing that you can do. Chacleteras sin llames con corbata.
Aquí yo vendo hot dog, pero en Cuba yo era médico.
Le saco el dedo y digo Q. Sweet home Hialeah. Solo 30 minutos de Le Bayo. Oh, sweet home Hialeah. I hate your traffic, but I love you. Yo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of East 10th Street Boys. I'm one of the hosts, Bobby El Gringo, with my co-host for life, Alex the Boy. What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, my man? Just a little tired, double duty today, but all good, all fun in the hood.
Yes. I think we're both tired, beat up. John's in the house. John is working behind the scenes. He's been messaging me about that. What's this called? Holy crap. I'm going for a blank. A game show for the wives and us to do. You know, Jamila has to wear the mask, and
yes.
You know, he's been
the
working hard on it. He's been messaging me. He's been contacting with Evan and so forth. So I'm excited to see that and get that rolling. We're going to do it on one of our future episodes, maybe next week or week after. Whenever they get it ready, we're going to do it. It's going to be a blast. But let me thank everybody for tuning in. You're watching East 10th Street Boys on the Finns Talk Sports Network. Whether you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, we appreciate you. Smash that like and subscribe button. We usually do this on Monday nights, but it was my fault. I asked Alex, hey, do you mind if we go ahead and push this back? Because I just needed the day to rest. Easter, traveling, everything in its mother. I needed to take a little bit of break. Alex was so kind. Even though this is his most look, he looks forward to this show, just to do this show. So we're doing it tonight because the No Holds Barred show is off. So we took their spot, and we're going to talk about everything. We're talking Dolphins. We're talking Heat. Marlins, Panthers. You know, is it child exploitation if teenagers work at 14, 15 years old?
Man,
we're going to talk about that because I think we might have been exploited, Alex. I think now that we're going to look back.
Bro, these kids nowadays.
Yeah. So, but first things first, we're running to anything, Alex. You had fast break. Beforehand, talking basketball, you had Neil on the show. You had, of course, Miami Clutch. Did Juan ever show up?
No, Juan didn't. I missed him. I don't know if something came up. I want to have him on next week if he's available. So we're going to try to get that program because I obviously love his insight. I hadn't talked to Neil. Well, on show. We've talked to Neil, obviously, off show, off camera. But I hadn't gotten a chance to talk to Neil since, I believe, before the season started. So it was cool to, catch his recap. And he's feeling the same pain from afar that we're feeling here in Miami. So it was good. It was good. It was a coping mechanism for both of us and for Clutch too. But it was cool. It was cool catching up.
Pretty cool. So before we run into Heat talk, because you just got done talking about it, we're going to touch back base on that in just a second. It could be a quick 1-2, and then we'll move on. But first off, let's go ahead and talk Dolphins. Draft is coming up a couple weeks away. A lot of talk coming out, and a lot of the stuff, and Evan brought it up yesterday. He said it wasn't him sucking up, but or kissing up, but he did say a lot of the stuff that I've been talking about, even throughout the year, ends up being true. And
Absolutely.
What's going on in this draft process, as Rob had brought up, DolphinsThirsty.com. If you're thirsty for Dolphins content, go see Rob's site. Awesome content up on there. But he's brought up that our network has said things and talked about things that now is starting to get leaked out or talked about amongst Dolphin fans. What am I talking about? Darnell Washington. Before anybody talking about Darnell Washington, we were talking about him. I'm talking about the network, myself in general. Jahmyr Gibbs, talking about possibly trading up to get Gibbs. Now people are starting to talk about Gibbs to Miami. Things here and there that Dolphins fans and the Dolphin Twitterverse is starting to catch up to, we've already discussed. The latest thing they're discussing, which is something we discussed, is possibly trading down. There was a report that Miami could be interested in trading up for a player like a Jahmyr Gibbs if he falls into the second round, into those early 30s, 40s. And now there's talk that no, Miami is actually interested in trading down from 51, acquiring more picks, and possibly even looking at corner, which is something we discussed. That no position is off the table. People want to talk about offensive line. People want to talk about tight end or linebacker. Those have to be the picks. Not really, because the way Miami has set themselves up, they have set themselves up where they don't have to rush into a pick. They don't have to be forced into a pick. They could go best player available, whomever that best player available is, even if it's a wide receiver. So, Alex, asking you, did you fall asleep on me?
No, I'm good.
There you are.
Because the Raptors just lost. The Bulls advanced.
What?
So, yeah.
Wow. Damn. So the Toronto
So
Raptors were leading almost by 20.
Yep. They just lost.
Holy crap. Talk about good for Chicago.
It's 105-104, but they're on the brink right there. So let me not jinx it.
Look what you did.
Yeah.
You see what? Okay. So
let me not jinx it yet. Hold on.
You're about to jinx it. Maybe a 3-point and then another 2-point
and one,
and another 3-point.
Fuck you, Alex.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex. Appreciate you. So let me ask you this, Alex. Talking about Dolphins, and you're sitting at 51. Okay, let's say this. We go into the second round.
Okay.
Darnell, Washington, Jahmyr Gibbs. They're into that second round, first day. Would you want Miami to trade up, or would you rather sit back at 51, let the draft follow you, see if those guys follow you, and would you entertain, even if those two guys are there, trading back to acquire more picks to fill out the roster? Where are you on trading up or down?
You kind of sold me on Gibbs, man. I would trade up for Gibbs depending on the situation. Obviously, you call around, you kind of have an idea of what the team's needs are, where they're leaning to. So if you're going to make a push and it's not going to cost you much, you make the move if he's your guy. If he falls to you, obviously, you pick him. But if he's off the board or it's not realistic for you to pick, I am a big believer, especially in this year, trading down, acquiring more picks, because we still have a lot of needs. And honestly, running back, like we've talked about this many times before, it's a luxury at this point. It's not really a necessity for us. So it's a place. I would say tight end might be a priority, but I would trade up for Gibbs at the right price, at the right place. But I am a big believer, especially in this situation, trading down, acquiring more picks, and kind of filling out your roster with your needs.
Yeah, I think, again, and this is what needs are there right now for Miami if you're looking at that roster. First off, everybody's saying tight end, and I'm absolutely down with that. If you're talking Darnell Washington, if you're talking Tucker Kraft, Sam Laporta. But how important was tight end to the Miami Dolphins last season? Not very much.
We misused our weapon.
Well, and the thing is, he's what type of weapon was he? He's really a wide receiver in a tight end spot.
Exactly.
He might end up being the next Rob Gronkowski in New England because they might know how to use him in that type of formula. Mm-hmm. But tight end is not that way. I think Darnell Washington would be the strongest option for Miami just because of his best ability is blocking. Even though he is a very good weapon, he is, and I think people are sleeping on him. He's a very good weapon. But I would say is that maybe Miami doesn't see tight end as much of an option if they, unless they say, hey, they did try to go after Darren Waller out of Las Vegas. So they might say, hey, might be just as important, but they need someone to fit their scheme. Anthony Manzano in the house, good to see him. Let me just read what he's saying. Honestly, for me, a trade up for Michael Mayer if he falls into the second round like most of these big draft analysts are predicting because the other guys are at his position perform better. Yes, I think Michael Mayer is a good option if he actually falls into that trade scenario area. I would say that I wouldn't be surprised if he is taken in the first round. I think that the media is starting to drum these guys up, and then a lot of these guys are going to start. A lot of guys in the second day, third day, you're going to go, how the hell are these guys here? They're supposed to go in the first round. Well, the media loves to drum these dudes up, and then they slip through the cracks because the NFL teams, Michael Mayer is a great all-around player. He's a very good all-around player. I highly doubt he's going to fall out of the first round. But I'm with you, Anthony. If he is there, I would not be mad at a trade-up for him. Jahmyr Gibbs, again, I think that dude is a stud. I would not be surprised if he doesn't fall out of the first round. I would be surprised if he went into the first round just because of the talent he has. Obviously, Bijan Robinson is going first, and it's very rare nowadays for a running back to go in the first round because the position has been so devalued. But when you have weapons like that, something that Jahmyr Gibbs offers is his pass catching ability, is his running. Again, an Alvin Kamara type back, in my opinion. And obviously Alabama. Dolphins love Alabama players. So you got to just connect the dots. It becomes very easy to see Anthony Manzano as an easy. Not Anthony Manzano. Jahmyr Gibbs as an fit. Manzano saying, "Would you be shocked if everybody at tight end in this year's draft falls completely out of the first round? If there's a huge run on tackles, corners, and running backs?" No. I would be shocked if all the tight ends are in the second round. I'd be shocked. Because, Dalton Kincaid, I don't see him as a fit for Miami, but as an explosive weapon at that position, he is. He's not much of a blocker, but as a pass catcher, Dalton Kincaid is everything and extra. I could see him going into the first round. Michael Mayer, obviously, we're talking. Darnell Washington is starting to catch the eyes of the media, even though I'm sure the scouts have already been on him. I've been talking about him since the beginning. He was my tight end one. I'd be shocked. A run at running backs, I don't see. Again, I see Bijan Robinson. I could see Jahmyr Gibbs, but I wouldn't be so shocked if Gibbs falls into the second round just because other positions are valued more. Like you're saying, Anthony, tackles, corners. What I found surprising was agent Drew Rosenhaus stated on an interview with, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Channel 7 down there, Alex, was that Miami, not about the trading down thing, he did say that, but that Miami was interested in besides tackle and tight end, in corner. Even though you would think corner is the deepest position in Miami right now.
Yeah.
Davian Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Kader Kohu, Nick Needham. Almost forgot Bobby, a.k.a. Mr. Ed. Oh, Anthony, you're pain in my ass. No, that's not true. But I would say is that corner is a surprise for me. I mean, again, no position really is a surprise. What I mean is that if Miami actually thought of it as a need, especially with what they had, unless they were thinking about, hey, we can move on from these guys next season, maybe Xavier Howard if the contract's too big. Alex, I know you're looking at your phone. What's going on with that game?
I still 107, 105, and I'm checking. That's why I want to follow up because this is going to be very interesting. Bulls beat Toronto. It's official.
There you go. The Chicago Bulls now advance. This is it for Toronto. They are out, right?
That's
done.
it, and possibly for Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse might be on the move. There's going to be some changes in Toronto.
There you go. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Might be hearsay here, because we're seeing the struggles of Miami right now. We're talking the Heat now. Just want to segue right into that. 109, 105. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Yep.
Excuse me, guys. I got a little bit of a cough. But now that Toronto, because when I was looking at this and then I saw the Heat lost yesterday, then I'm looking, okay, they're not eliminated yet. They got to go against the second team.
Yeah.
When I was looking, I was like, man, my hope would be Chicago over Toronto in a matchup against it because I think Miami has a better chance. But is that fool's hope there, Alex? Do you think Miami actually has a shot against Chicago, or do you think this is a wrap? Miami's done. The Heat is over.
Honestly, for the sanity, for the competitive part of you, you always want to go all out no matter what. But this year has been the most inconsistent season. It wasn't a stretch. It wasn't a 20 game. It was we literally did not catch a break or did not go on a roll at any point this season. There was maybe an influx of games of 4 to 5 games that we kind of won, and then we go right back to our waves. So you are what your record says you are, and we are inconsistent this year. There's no cohesiveness. Obviously, we in fast break today we kind of broke down many options scenarios. Neil was the one that kind of like I was hoping for Chicago, but then I'm like he did make this point how Chicago's been on a run as of late, and they're playing close. And we're 0-3 against Chicago this year. We didn't beat them. We lost the season 6.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
Chicago, DeRozan's a heat killer. Vucevic is a heat killer. With our luck, we win because we played horrible last game. We come out all firing. Ideally, we're competitive. We lose this game. I don't want to waste this year in our playoffs, honestly. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made. Me, right now, me as a coach, you want to go all out. You want your chances in the playoffs because we are a talented team. But with the way this season is played out, there's no way I see us
What do you
advancing in
think?
the playoffs.
I wanted to talk about something Clutch had said on Twitter, but before we go into that, I want to talk about like what Stephen A. had brought up, saying, and I read this, I didn't see this, so I can't talk about the topics that was going on. Just about what I read was that these guys don't like each other. There's something going on in Miami that they're not connecting. You know, I saw the word "don't like each other." You know, this is weird because this team seemed like a team that was connected. I mean, even when they were losing, they had each other's backs. I mean, Jimmy, Bam, etc. Watching this team all year as you have, do you see that with the Heat? That do you see that divisiveness? Do you see something brewing on the undercurrent there that they may not like each other?
I wouldn't say they don't like each other, but on-court chemistry I think is causing a friction. Believe it, I do see a situation with Butler and Bam where they kind of made light of it, where Butler started assisting Bam one game because they were talking here in 5 Reasons. Ethan and Brady and Greg had brought it up, how the percentages of the assists to Bam were down from Jimmy. And Jimmy, because he played a game with Cody where he assisted Cody Zeller 7 times in that game. And that's one knock, and I think it's on Spo as well. Offensively, this team has not been able to identify when Jimmy becomes playoff Jimmy to still have an assertive Bam and to keep Bam involved in the offense. It kind of becomes an afterthought because Hero's a scorer. Hero's a baller. He's going to get his touches no matter what. Hero can play off both of them. And Hero and Butler seem to play very well, and Hero and Bam seem to play very well. But Bam and Butler, for some reason, that cohesiveness has eroded a little bit. I don't know if the effect of having Kyle Lowry on the team, which Kyle, we talked about on Fast Break yesterday, Kyle gave you what you expect from Kyle in spurts. This is the reason you had Kyle Lowry. He's not going to give you what he gave you yesterday every game, but every 5th, every 10th game, he can go off and get hot and be the best player on your team. So, but there is definitely inconsistencies. Is personnel, people overachieving, kind of like your role players maxing out, because you can argue our role players have been horrible this year except Caleb Martin. And we are now at our healthiest point, and we are in an uncertainty level because that's part when you mess around in the season, you don't play well, and you don't secure one of the first top 6. Now you're in danger. And if you think about this, a 2-game difference, Bob, 2 or 3 game difference, we lost around, I want to say 10 games this year that we should have won easily. We should have been a 50-win team in ideal situations. We could have had the 6th seed secure and a better matchup against the Sixers. Now we are in the brink of not even making the playoffs, which at this point, sometimes you're wondering, I'm like, and I'm a competitor, you know me. I'm going for it. But I'm like, wait, is it really worth it? I'm going to go against Milwaukee. I just have problems with Atlanta's size, and I'm going against a better, more experienced, taller team in Giannis, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, which honestly this year you take one game if you're lucky, but I don't know, man. I don't really see us. I know we can win, but I don't know if there's a point for us to advance. In reality, you can see Spo's exhausted. Like, you want the season just to be over. Like, that's it. There's nothing coming from this season.
So, see, so just saying that, and from what I've been reading and seeing, and on the outside looking in, because again, as you know, I haven't been able to see much of those games because I'm outside of Miami.
Yes.
I follow up with you. I follow up on Twitter.
Yeah.
And that way. But what I've seen from the outside in is a team on the brink. And what I mean on the brink, because this team was pretty balanced. There's no reason why this team should struggle as consistently as it has. We talked a lot during the offseason with Dune Squad and the draft, and this was a pretty damn deep team in regards of balance, guards, forwards, center. We didn't have that guy with size, but it was a pretty balanced out roster. Man, is Jamila okay?
Oh no, that's Dash. Let
Oh.
me see. Hold on. I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take you with Dash here. Let me see. Let's see what is going on. He might have to go pee. Let me see. Oh no, he's just locked in his cage. That's fine.
Oh, okay,
He's good.
Yeah, my
You
dog
always
was
gotta
doing
make
that
sure.
earlier, but
How is your dog, by the way?
huh?
Getting
She's
bigger
good.
by the day?
Every
By the
day she gets
minute.
bigger, longer, bigger, louder. She likes to play, rough and all that. But she's a sweetheart. She's just very loving. But with the Heat, when I say on the brink, I think on the brink of blowing it up. I have a feeling when I hear from you right now, but also what I've been seeing on the outside looking in, especially, you think of national media pundits, what you see every day following the team. I see a team that's on the brink of blowing it up, and it could go both ways. One way is blow it up and build around Jimmy, get more star pieces around Jimmy, or blow it up and build around Bam. I can't. I don't see. I have a feeling, and you were just saying how Spo looks tired. He looks
Yeah.
exhausted. Maybe that's a decision that has to be made. Do they think Jimmy is more Heat culture than Bam? Is Bam inconsistent? Bam, I know, is starting to speak up now about the ball. It has to be more in his hands. Something Miami Clutch had brought up from Fast Break, he brought up on Twitter, is that he's full 2-on, but he says now you can kind of see the other side of it for Dolphin fans who are not 2-on. Whenever anytime somebody brings up anything about Tua, the Dolphin fan base, the 2-ons go off on those people. And now with the Miami Heat fans, there's a certain base that are pure Bam. If you say anything about trading Bam or get rid of Bam or Bam's the problem, they go off. I find that so interesting because it's like we've discussed it. You and I love Bam and I loved him coming out. I remember we talked about him. We got drafted. Same thing with Tyler Hero. We've been watching these guys ever since they've been they drafted, and we've learned to love them. But the opposite end of the spectrum is that you've been about Bam's the future of this team. Where I've been, hey, I want a chip. Same thing as the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
If Jimmy is the star, we need to build around Jimmy. If Bam doesn't fit, we can move Bam. Get a KD, get a whatever. First off, before you answer that part or discuss that, discuss the Tua dynamic. Is Bam the Tua of the Dolphins in regards of he's polarizing, where there's a part of the fan base is like he can do no wrong, and another part of the fan base is it's all on him?
Yeah, I can see the comparison, like I told Clutch, because obviously it's not a question about durability because Bam is always available. Bam is your anchor, and but a question of performance when it matters. A question of assertiveness. Is he a system player? You can argue that with Bam as well as with Tua. If you take them out of his system, is he such an efficient player? Can he create for himself? Which one of the knocks on Bam is that he's not assertive offensively. And it's kind of like the way he was brought up. He was not a first option in Kentucky. He gets drafted into a situation where he's backing Hassan Whiteside. He's asked to be unselfish. So you're grooming him to be unselfish. Now you have a situation where you need him to be selfish at times. But what I like about this is when he mentioned in the press conference yesterday, is like, we have to find a way to get me the ball. So he didn't make it about only himself. That's where I see there is a situation going on where, and don't get me wrong, playoff Jimmy Butler is having the most efficient season of his career. We talked about this. So this is not, I don't think this is going to be a scenario where you have to pick between Jimmy or Bam. Ideally, your perfect scenario is you're building with both of them. As Jimmy gets older and you demand less from him, Bam is ascending. But I told Clutch and I told Neil today, Bam is never going to be a number one scoring option in any team. That's not his game. Bam is a defensive juggernaut, but you also saw this year it kind of took a toll on him. Bam's defensive numbers dropped. The Heat's defense dropped because he was asked to do a lot more. So I do feel that he will address length, athleticism. So you're going to see a faster team, a taller team, a more athletic team next year. But you can definitely, in the landscape here in Miami, see the comparisons with Bam and Tua where you cannot just I'm always in the middle, and I've always been fair in regards to the Tua situation and the Bam. You want to see the production, you want to see their growth, and both of them are growing, both of them are ascending. Bam, for example, already got his contract. Tua's contract's coming up now, so they're in the same timeline. You get me, and you can see them line up, and in the fan base, obviously, what you expect and what you demand, you have to be a realist. You cannot just protect, or deny all culpability. You got to hold people accountable. You got to hold Tua accountable for his performances, aside from the concussions. You got to hold Bam accountable as well. It's not just everybody else. You got to be more assertive. So it's funny how Bam this year's basically concluding, where you saw the ascension, but Tua's coming into now. It's kind of cool that they're always on opposite ends. Like one is a winter sport, one is a fall sport, kind of like our spring sport. So it's a cool concept when it comes to that. But they're going to be tied down, and if there's any setbacks this year, unsuccessful runs, they're always going to be tied down in that aspect. Where Heat Twitter is always magnified, Dolphins Twitter is always magnified, maybe too obsessive at times, I would say. Maybe some people are blind, but there's also a lot of narratives that are out there in regards to overreactions about and we talked about it today. So it is what it is. You can't change Miami Twitter.
So no, you can't. You can't change Dolphins Twitter either. But
it's
I
agonizing at times.
Fans in general, but
we're entitled. We're really entitled.
We are.
We think we deserve this whole shit. I'm like, whoa, relax, bro.
John's not wrong though. John's not wrong. I agree with John here. Every year, the show me year in every job, and it is. It's a what have you done for me lately? I don't. I'm not worried about what you can do 3 years from now. I'm not worried about what you did last year or 2 years back. It's what you have done for me lately, where you've talked about it. Jimmy, at one point, is having maybe one of his best years in his career.
You can argue his best year.
Having one of his worst years. Inconsistent, and and we've discussed that. That's been a frustrating thing for me with Bam. And how much I loved him coming out and loved him when we got him. And what I didn't want to re-sign Hassan Whiteside. I wanted us to roll with the guy. But one of my biggest complaints on Bam Adebayo was his inconsistency, was his lack of drive. When he has an open shot at the basket, he'll run past it and we miss the shot.
And that changed the season. But after the All-Star game, it went back. Deflecting Bam.
He regressed. So let me ask you this. I know you kind of gone on the scent of, and you were kind of last year, in the offseason, with, okay, we could move Tyler for the right price. You were hard set against trading Bam for any price, even KD. If I remember correctly, KD was the same way.
Yeah.
Are you still on that right now? Or are you like, no, we need to change. If the right price, the right player can help this team win, anybody's available.
I'm still no on Bam. I would trade Tyler. I believe Tyler will be a part of any package in regards to Dame Lillard. If we do go into that scenario, multiple first-round picks.
Let me push back on you very quick. This will be Goon Squad in a second, because you just said two things that spelled out to me. No, I'd rather keep Tyler and move Bam. You said one thing. You said is that Tyler can score. We need scoring. We need another scorer besides Jimmy Butler or whomever. We need size. We can't go against Milwaukee because we don't have size. Well, who's supposed to be our big guy? It's Bam Adebayo.
Yeah,
he's 6'9". What's your solution for next season? And obviously that's next season. But like if you said, and I'm not talking, what's this guy's name? See, I forgot the one you used to love, the one that you like. What's his face? That kid from the Miami Heat, the center, the young kid.
Oh, Omer.
Don't give me Omer. You got to give me somebody who's going to be capable of hanging with. So, if you're saying no, trade Tyler, but keep Bam, keep Jimmy, and see what you could get out of that. Then what's your solution on size? Because we need size. We need scores. Bam's not a scorer. He could score. He could do 20. He could give you 25, 15 one night, but it's not consistent. It's usually 10, 15, something like that. So where's the scoring? Where's the size coming from if Alex is not going to trade Bam next year?
For example, in any Dame Lillard situation, you could also attach a Jeremy Grant. Because the reason I say about not trading Bam is part of your size. Obviously, you need also another complementary player next to Bam, size-wise, athletic-wise, that can rebound and all that. Kind of like in the same spectrum, size-wise, of like a Cody Zeller that we have now. That's what I'm talking about, size. Obviously, more athletic, a better shooter, spacing the floor a little bit more. With Hero, what you're losing in Hero, you're basically gaining with Damian Lillard. where he's tough. He's a better defender than Hero.
Well, that's
he's
different.
Still a bucket getter.
Dame Lillard
That's exactly
is above all.
That's my scenario. That's what I would trade. You're trading. You want scoring. Dame becomes your number one scorer automatically. Jimmy is still comfortable playing where he's creating. You could play a 1-2 punch with Dame offensively, and you're fine because you have a scenario where you have low post scoring with Bam, Jimmy creating offense off the post, off the block with Jimmy, and then you have the range in Damian Lillard. That's the perfect case scenario, and realistically, might be your one option. He's showing signs. He has been unwilling to move from Portland, but even now, it came out in an interview with Stephen A. in the middle of the game. He did mention that if Portland doesn't do moves, this is when he starts thinking about making his decisions about his future. Portland is going younger, so this might be the year that we put our chips in and go for Damian Lillard. He's still, 32? I think Damian is 31, 32. So he's still a young nucleus piece, obviously, and kind of in between Jimmy's years and Bam's years. So there's many options this year. That's why I'm not freaking out. This is just like I told him on Fast Break. This isn't a make or break, but this is a year where it's going to be a franchise-altering move. We're going to know the direction of where we're going this offseason because they waited last year. They wanted to play it out with this team. They wanted to see what they had. Now they know what we had.
I have a first-round pick, right? They do,
yes,
right?
Yes. It could be either 14th or 20th. So that's a big gap, too. That might help you out. You might not even use that pick, but it's a bigger trade asset, which is one of the few that you have.
It's a 15. That'd be easier to move in a deal.
And next year, Jovic, I want to see if they move him too. I like Jovic. I really hope we don't, but he could be part of a deal for a Damian Lillard. So there's many options.
But I can't see a team. I can't see Portland saying, let's take on Tyler Hero and give you up Dame Lillard when Lillard is still one of the better players in the NBA. I see it where they go, no, give me a Bam Adebayo.
They're going to ask for it. Of course, they're going to ask for it, man.
Yeah,
they're always going to ask for it.
Yeah.
But I don't see them trading Bam. Honestly, I don't see them trading Bam at all for any player. Maybe, like I told you, Bam you trade for a Giannis, a LeBron in his prime. So, but not even for Anthony Davis. I would have traded him right now for Anthony Davis.
You're such a...
I'm serious, bro. I'm serious.
Hey, brother, no one could ever say you're not consistent, my dude. No one could ever tell you you're not consistent.
I know what I see in Bam. I saw glimpses of it at the beginning of this year, and I was really happy for him. And not for myself. I don't care for myself.
But the glimpses, you saw a glimpse. I'm not hammering on this. I'm just saying this because I think he's a way better player than that guy. But you saw glimpses in Justice Winslow. Glimpses in Hassan Whiteside.
No. Whoa.
Here's the thing. Hold on.
Whoa. No, I didn't see glimpses in Hassan Whiteside. I knew at the time we were going to give him that contract because Dallas was going to give him that contract, and I was okay with it. I didn't mind. We lost weight. We needed to sign him.
So sorry, I'll wheel it back. But my thing is, do you see a guy that could lead this team to chip right now with the way this roster is built? Can he be that guy? We could say we see glimpses of what he could be or what our expectations are of him, but can we trust that he's going to hit that potential while he's in the Heat uniform or while this team's window is there? And is their window even there? Is their window shut right now? Do they have to go ahead and I'm not. Are you in a basement? No, I'm in my backyard here.
It does look like you're in a basement.
Yeah, it does. Right now, I'm in the backyard. I didn't want to do it in the house today, so I thought, shit, I'll do it outside. And I got my bottle of water. I could have had a cigar or whatever. I don't smoke cigars mostly, but I could have done it tonight. But no, it's cool. But anyway, Maestro, that's awesome. But I don't know. You see, that's my thing because I believe Bam could be a very good player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
But
He is.
I just can't see him as the franchise player. To me, he's not the franchise player. If he was, because you would have seen it by now. Especially when our window right now for this current squad, to me, is shut. They have to do something. They either have to make a franchise-altering move or blow it up and restart because I can't see how you go next year and say, oh, we traded Kyle Lowry and we got another.
Yeah.
Not Dame Lillard, because that's a franchise-altering move. But you trade Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, get Dame Lillard, good. But if you trade Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero and you get Spencer Dinwiddie, and, just not that he's a bad player. I think he's a very good player. But you go get him, you still have Bam, Jimmy, etc. That doesn't move the needle, And I don't know if Bam moves the needle as much as a and Anthony Davis healthy, and I'm not advocating for Anthony Davis. I would advocate for LeBron. I'd advocate for Dame Lillard. I'd advocate for Giannis if that was a real possibility. But I don't see where he's not the franchise player to me. Jimmy's still the franchise guy.
That's my point.
Because Jimmy does alter the franchise.
You can argue that Jimmy being the alpha male and the franchise player acquired when Bam was beginning his ascension kind of automatically put the situation where Bam is not your franchise player, but Bam really is your most important player. If you remove Bam from this equation this year, this team is nowhere near where it is right now. Because yes, we understand playoff Jimmy and Jimmy played the most efficient season I've seen him play, and I believe statistically it's been his best season all across the board efficiency wise. I believe even his numbers were higher than they were last year. So he's still your franchise, he's still your bucket getter, but Bam is your franchise player in the term of it holds everything together and it attracts also people want to play with Bam. And Bam makes your game easier, and he improves every player on the floor just by being with him. That's one of the things that's the reason he got a max contract. It's not only because of the situation. Bam positively affects every player that plays with him. You can argue that when Bam's on the floor, every player plays better because Bam is on the floor. And he's not your franchise player points-wise, bucket getter, but he's top 2 for you.
Okay. And I get all that. I understand the importance he is to this Heat squad. Mm-hmm. But I think you just said if you take Bam out of this team, they're not where they are right now, which is not great. So not that big of a compliment. But I think that if you actually take Jimmy out of this team and let's say Bam is your lead guy and you got this team and Bam and Jimmy's not on the Heat, this is not a playoff team. I don't see it as a playoff team. Bam has never showed that he could lead the team. Where if you take Bam out of the equation and you keep Jimmy with the current squad, I think it's still a play-in or a playoff team. See, so that's where I love Bam. It's just that's where I kind of see was like, hey man, he's our most valued asset. That if we really want to make a run, he's the guy you need to offer up. I don't see it at we lose him. Oh my gosh, we really damaged the team. No,
I mean, depending on what you get in return, but
of course. I mean, if you're trading him again for, but if it's Luka,
I guarantee you the move hero. Hold on, let me go with Dash here because my boy here is barking. Doesn't let somebody do the show. I'm gonna show you guys your little turn. Let me let him out of his cage so he stops barking over here. Oh, Dash gonna make a little appearance live right here. Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
That's all he wanted.
He's gone. All right, actually, this is funny. Now he just goes outside. This is a great part. Watch. All live. This is great. This is great content right here. Taking him out and watch him go absolutely apeshit. You'll hear it in about 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Man, he's letting me down. Horrible. Just like the Heat this year. Way to go, bud.
I like that moniker for you, Bobby. You are producer, conductor of this platform. Plus, you get a nifty black stick, nice perk. Yes. I've been called many names now doing this, and since we started this, conductor, producer, maestro, El Jefe, Godfather. I've been called it all, so I love it. I love it. Thank you all for your nice words. Very quick, because I still want to talk a little bit Dolphins and everything else.
Absolutely.
First off, let's talk about another Miami-based team. It says Florida, but a team that's going to the playoffs, and that's the Florida Panthers. Congratulations to them. Yes. They're going to the playoffs for the 9th time in team history. They're at 42.
First time back-to-back seasons going into the playoffs.
Back-to-back seasons. So, we're not the biggest hockey fans or hockey aficionados, but we are supporters of Miami sports team. How is it down there in Miami and Florida for Panther fans? Would the Panthers make it? Do they actually believe the Panthers have a shot at making a run at the Stanley Cup?
Oh, man, we're so talented, and we obviously make the trade for Trechek, I believe is who we saw. I think that's how you say his name. Just saw a comment. I gotta go get him. I took him outside. I gotta go get him because it's been pouring over here in Miami. Miami, like you said, for example, Miami's not always overly excited about the Panthers. Now they've been picking up teams. They play in Sunrise, closer to Fort Lauderdale. Still Miami based. I got one of my good friends, Willie. He's gone to like 20 games. So it's an exciting time. Obviously, I still think the Eastern Conference goes through Boston, which if you've seen, Bob, the Bruins have
Yeah.
set the record for wins in a season, set the record for points in a season. They're dominating this year.
Nashville's a hockey town, dude,
Yeah.
with the Preds. So my boss is a diehard Preds fan, so she keeps me all in the loop with that. She was telling me the Bruins, and I think that's who they play, right, in round one.
I believe. Well,
Oh, no, I'm sorry. They still have to beat the Hurricanes on Thursday in a regular season game to avoid a first-round matchup against the league best Bruins. So if they could win against the Hurricanes, they avoid the Bruins in round one, which would be good news for the Panthers because because I've heard that the Bruins are just scary good. Yeah,
we beat the Bruins. We beat the Bruins this year.
Did we really?
So, yeah, we beat them. We beat them here. Willie actually went to the game, I believe, and he was telling me about it. So it's still, once again, this franchise is still built to win long term, especially when we acquired Trocheck and signed to the extension that we traded. One of our defense, what was it? Oh my God, who was it we traded? Damn, who did we trade, bro? It's a fan favorite, and I completely forgot his name. Whatever.
We traded him for a young player, right? The star young player. We got a young guy.
Yeah, we had Trocheck. We traded for Trocheck, and we gave him an extension.
Yes.
But I'm losing Herberdew. We traded Herberdew, Jonathan Herberdew.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously very popular, but we weren't going to agree to a contract extension with him, so he was gone. And this team is built to win 4 seasons. It was just under new coach. They kind of been lackluster this year, playing below expectations, and we were out of the playoff race. I want to say like 10.
Yes,
like
we
2
were.
or 3 weeks ago.
Followed on that earlier, yeah.
So it's an exciting time, obviously, for Hockey Town. And no matter what, you just want to see competitive and continue to compete for the years to come.
John is
Continue
a
to build.
Blackhawk fan. There you go. All right.
Whoa, I gotta admit, their uniforms were awesome. I used to love the Flyers when I was a kid, and we were making our playoff runs. We battled the Bruins in the playoffs. We battled the Flyers in the playoffs. I remember that, and I used to love the Flyers jersey.
We're going to touch on baseball before we move on, but watching hockey, I can't too much on TV and not getting interested. I can't really get interested in hockey on TV. I do though, going to a game. I can go to a game. Obviously, I've been to a few games here, Preds and Panthers. I never been interested. I did go to a game or two when I was younger, when they were making the run, the Panthers, dirty rats and all that. But I'll say though, a hockey game in person is a lot better than watching on TV.
For sure.
But I can watch baseball on TV, and I know everything that's going on better than hockey. Hockey, I can't figure it out, but baseball is better in person than going to watch it on TV.
Absolutely.
Nothing beats a baseball game. Sit down, grab a beer, enjoy the game, whatever. Where in hockey, it's just loud,
constant.
I gotta give the Predators that. If you guys are ever in Nashville, go to a Preds game because Bridgestone is one of the best arenas out there. My kids had a blast. Tristan and Audrey love the Preds now because of the experience they had there, and it got me into it. Watching
Nashville, being there, you guys need a basketball team. You need a baseball team. I know we talked about the Stars, the Nashville Stars, that they're trying to get it together. You guys need a basketball team or a baseball team because you guys have the market for it, and you have you're gonna have the amenities for it too.
Yeah, it is, and they're building the soccer stadium here for Nashville SC. I think they play at the Nissan right now, Nissan Stadium, which is Titans.
Titans are getting a new stadium too, right?
They are. They're getting a dome. Yeah, they're getting a very nice stadium being built here. Should be here in 25 or something.
Nice.
Which is good for them. So it's very important that they figure out what they're going to do because they got a new GM now. Are they going to trade Henry? Hopefully they trade him to the Dolphins, but I think they're kind of leaning on keeping him. But then you got to figure out what they're doing.
Put a good word in.
Yeah, I tried. But I've heard from Titan fans that if they were to trade Henry to the Dolphins, that they'd become Dolphin fans. So fingers crossed because we can use some more Dolphin fans.
I think across the board, Bob, the Dolphins are going to be a very popular team this year. We've always had a strong fan base in Europe and all that due to the Marino years and us being in Miami. But I see Miami Dolphins are starting to gain traction as a popular team around the NFL, especially in the players' room. Because before, nobody wanted to come.
A lot of these teams, you got to remember, before the Titans, I had a lot of Titan fans tell me that that before the Titans were here, and even in Atlanta, that they were Dolphin fans first because they didn't have the Titans. So it seems like the fan base is stronger across the country and
Yes.
even over around the world than there is in Miami.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
for
know.
sure.
I didn't know you lived. Forget Maestro Grizzly, but yes, I live in Tennessee. From Miami, East Tennessee
Yeah.
boy, obviously from Hialeah, but we live in Nashville now, outside of Nashville, Franklin. But man, let me touch on this because I do want to talk Dolphins. You brought it back up, but let me before that, Marlins. Man, I think they're 5-7 right now. Or they're 6-7 today. I'm not sure if they won the game tonight,
Yeah, they won
but
today.
they won. So 6-7 now. Luis Arez, who we traded
Yes.
for
Yes.
from the Twins, ends up being the best batter. Had a cycle, hit the cycle, which is a first base, second base, third base home run.
Yep.
Man, and, I know it's only $5 to go to a game. I know Evan has joked about that. My mother has told me I would love to go to a Marlins game right now because I think this team is on the cusp. I'm proud of the Marlins in regards of because they've got so much heat and they should have. I mean, they should throughout the history, but their general manager's done a good job. They got a young manager on staff now. Don Mattingly's gone. You're being in Miami right now. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? How do you feel about the Marlins right now?
Well, for example, they started the season with the same struggles. It wasn't a hitting struggle. They just couldn't produce runs. They couldn't score. So you saw the hitting was there. The pitching, which was a strong suit, we still got uh, two of our three top pitchers are still coming back from injuries, and probably my debut. We got a rookie, not a rookie, one of our prospects, Yuri Perez, which is a Dominican 6'8" flamethrower. We got Sixto Sanchez coming off of surgery, Max Mayer coming off of surgery. So and we got right now Sandy Alcantara, Jesus Luzardo. He's a Venezuelan pitcher, the lefty. So we have stud players across the board. What we have now, when we acquired Lewis, it cost us Pablo Lopez, but it was a cost. You have to give up talent to get talent. And Lewis, arguably, is probably one of the best hitters in baseball throughout all of MLB. And I do hope we do get him to a contract extension soon because he will be in second base for years to come. There's still a lot of developmental pieces coming up. So this team is not gonna. This team is still not ready to compete. I would say maybe a year away, but we have the makings of a successful. The reason in Miami baseball's not supported is because we've already gone through almost 3 fire sales. So the fans do not trust this organization.
That's
Obviously,
right.
Jeter left. Bruce Sherman, a lot of people were thinking he was probably thinking of selling. He says he doesn't want to sell. The stadium is built in Little Havana, which everybody that lives in Miami or knows about Miami. Little Havana is the second Cuban capital of the world. It's a very Hispanic community, baseball community. So you have fans from across the board. When people saw the World Baseball Classic, you saw that stadium packed. It
Yep.
was 37,000 people, 35,000 people every single game. So if we have a winning product, unfortunately, the only thing that's getting guaranteed that stadium being full is putting a winning product on the field. And it's going to take commitment. I do believe the way this team is being set up, the way this team is being prepared, I do believe we're in the right direction. We haven't spent irresponsibly on big free agents. Jorge Soler is playing better this year. Avisael Garcia lost weight. He's starting to improve a little bit. We still obviously need help at first base. And lo and behold, Brett Anderson, we don't sign him to an extension or we don't sign a contract. He goes to Milwaukee and he's tearing up the league, which is what he should have been doing for us while he was here. So those things happen, but you grow. Jazz is your most electric player. He's playing in center field this year. So moving pieces. Our rotation is still next year, I believe, going to be solid. We got Sandy Alcantara, Cy Young winner. He's gotten off to a rough stretch, a little inconsistent the first 3 starts, but it's part of it. Like the Cy Young fallout. But I believe we're built for sustained success. Our farm system is deep. Our pitching staff is going to be second to none. We might have the best pitching staff come next year. So I'm excited. You know me. I've been a Marlins fan since I was very little, and I was there through the World Series. I was there through the fire sales, and it finally seems that they did this the right way. It started with Jeter. It started with a past front office, and it's kind of assembled now. And we're in the forefront. We have the first female GM in
Yep.
all of MLB. We have the first female president, I believe, of an organization as well. So we are in the front for it. We are Miami. We are diverse, and there's no reason not to go. That stadium is absolutely beautiful. Anybody that's watched a game there is one of the nicest stadiums I've seen. The view is amazing. The atmosphere is amazing. We just have to have a sustainable winning product on the field, and the fans will come eventually. So
If you
let's just
win.
hope it stays that way. If you win,
So let's talk about, first off, let me thank everybody for tuning in. Again, whether you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, thank you so much. Smash that like and subscribe when you're watching East 10th Street Boys on the Finstock Sports Network. That's Alex. I'm Bobby. So very quick, we are going to do our word of the day. And that's where we talk about words that we heard, saying slang, things like that as we grew up. And Alex will explain it as best he can. He actually got a little thrown off with it earlier, but then he figured it out.
yeah,
Oh,
the
I know what
wordage.
it is. He's too old now, you know. So here we go. There's the word of the day, Alex. Say it, pronounce it, talk about it.
Yes, okay. The word of the actually is kaseyuga. So I was missing the DE in the middle there. It's kind of like it's not a word, it's an expression per se. So it's a set of words. Kaseyuga, so for other Cubans, kase carajo. That means that it's somewhere very far. Like
BFE.
another saying is, yeah, BFE. It's like literally like, oh, let's say, for example, here in Miami, I gotta go to Homestead to, oh my gosh, kaseyuga por ahí para allá. So it's things of that sort. You know, it's usually a lot of good things about the Cuban. Yucky house. That's not
Yucky house.
Kaseyuga. So that's something that's always funny to me. The expressions that we have that a lot of people don't understand is another one that is close. It's like donde el diablo perdió la chaqueta. It's like where the devil lost his jacket. That means that it's like super far. Like no one's ever gonna see it. So it's it's funny how we always have little expressions for like common sayings. What would be the American translation for that? Like just BFE, right?
Yeah, I'd say BFE.
That's it.
BFE.
Kaseyuga. I like a yucky house.
Yucky house. Ropa Vieja,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Which, amazing. But what's the saying? What's the translation on that?
Okay, ropa vieja, I would say in English, is basically shredded beef. But the literal translation is old clothes,
Yes.
which makes no sense whatsoever. But it's ropa vieja. If you guys ever Google it, it's basically shredded beef and like tomato sauce with spices. Usually with black beans or rice with yuca, which is damn. How do you say yuca in English? I don't even know how to say that. How do you say yuca in English? I never thought about this right now.
I just say yuca. It's yuca to
Yuca,
me.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's not a.
How do you say taco in Spanish?
Taco.
Exactly. So what the fuck? You know?
Yuca. And but actually, one of the best things is the thing about yuca. A lot of people, if you have boiled yuca, you gotta have a little sofrito, which is aceite, a little bit of ajo, which is garlic. But you could also have fried yuca. Yuca fries. It's awesome.
Yeah, Tati likes yuca. I don't think I've ever tried it, and I'm not interested in it.
You've never tried yuca?
No.
Oh my god.
I have not.
Okay, think about it. It's basically like sweet potato, but a little bit saltier. It's that texture. You get me?
So it's a potato.
Similar.
It's a potato.
No, it's not a potato. It's not a potato, man. It's a sweet potato, bro, not a potato.
You don't want to hear some? I don't like sweet potato. Never had it.
Okay, wait a second. You just said you don't like it, but you've never had it. How do you know you don't like it?
Who's it free? Why are you gonna like sweet potato? It's a potato. You don't use yucky wet white plant. You see, yeah, you know that's yuca.
Wow,
thank you,
man.
Thanks, John.
Cultured fucks, unbelievable.
I think John's older than you, brother. He's a culture.
Oh no, yeah, John. I'm talking about you. I know John.
Oh.
John's older than me. But you see, that's the thing. That's American people really wouldn't eat that. Like that's not something that's like part of your custom. Like I've never seen yuca. No, I'm serious. Like I've never seen yuca as part of like an American meal. You get me? It's more like sweet potato jams.
What's up, Color? Tyler Commentary in the house, man. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for tuning in.
It's funny how like yuca. I'm not trying to be racist here, but yuca is more like a Latin side dish. Like how that's what
you are
I
being
would compare it.
You keep saying Americans. You're talking about white people when you say that. You racist son of a bitch.
Okay, it's true. I mean, when I do say American, I do refer to white Anglo-Saxons.
I didn't think well what you do. I'm not trying to be racist. Yes, the fuck you are.
What can I say?
No, we're having too much fun. Man, good to see Color in the house. Of course, John, everybody tuning in. Anthony earlier. Again, watching on any platform. We appreciate you. Smash the like and subscribe button. You watch East 10th Street Boys. Man, we are almost at an hour. I know you're beat. I'm getting over a cough. Weird day. We're doing it on a Wednesday, but that's okay. We usually do it on Monday nights. Yuca is more common in Latin cuisine. See, there you go. Colors with you. Yeah, that's right. Talk about picadillo.
Oh, picadillo. Oof. Picadillo is, how would you say it in English, Bob? What do you call it in English?
Again, I deal. Don't call it anything.
No, but there's a name to that. There's a name to that. Hold on. Let me the almighty Google.
I thought
Picadillo.
Yuca produced Ben.
Says hash. What?
Throw a chocolate at your. Throw your chocolate at the dog.
Yeah, Dash. You see, this is the thing. Dash is a miniature. For those who don't know, Dash is a miniature pincher Chihuahua. Dash, come here, Ben Dash. So he thinks, first of all, he's a guard dog. Like literally anything that's outside at this time that is around our backyard. If there's a cat walking, if there's a possum, he goes off. And then we have a gate, not a wall that goes to the back of our house on the sidewall. And there's always a possum that walks around. And the moment Dash hears him, which is probably happening now, it could be like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you'll hear him, and you'll be like, and he tries to always go out every single time. And it is funny because he loves chasing lizards, and he's never caught a lizard in his life. I find that he's like 0 for 184 in attempts to catch lizards, and he's so excited every time. Over a bed of white rice, see the dogs. Oh man, and this is a poor man's meal. The Cuban poor man's meal is arroz con huevo frito and picadillo. Poof, that is fire. Have you ever had that, Bob? Rice with a fried egg on top?
No. Yeah. No.
Oh.
No.
Oof.
No. To me, that's like no fried egg. Egg is supposed to be by itself with some bacon and toast. You don't mix that up. You know what I mean? With rice, mix it all up. I'm not big into pineapple pizza, all that crap. I'm just no.
I
things
agree
are
with you there.
Things are meant to be
I
separate.
don't like hot pineapple. I do not like hot pineapple. Pineapple should not be on a pizza. I agree with that.
No, yeah. Let's touch on this before we close this out because I saw this earlier on Twitter and I found it a little funny. Okay. There's some social things that get discussed that I think should be discussed. Obviously, and we touched on it last week with the guns and situation with the kid in Nashville, and of course what happened in Louisville, which
and God bless. Happens again, close to you guys again.
Yeah, and so
that's 2 hours away.
Yeah, and there are things that we should discuss or whatever. Something came up today, though. I guess it was a TikTok about somebody went to Chick-fil-A and saw a 14-year-old boy working there, and was put off by it, so they made a TikTok. And so this lady posted on there about how places like McDonald's, et cetera, are putting these $15, $16 an hour jobs to allure, what did she say? Take advantage of 14-year-olds or 13, 14, 15-year-olds to take advantage of them so they can work there when they should be raising the prices and hiring adults. I never felt taken advantage of because I was one of those. Before how old were we, Alex, when we started at Walgreens? Because you and I officially started working at the same place.
Yeah.
15 years old?
I think I was 17. Because since I play sports, I really didn't work until I began.
Okay.
Was I 16? No, I think I was 17. I had just turned 17.
Okay. Based off when I think in Social Security, I think it said since 15 years old, I've been working. Before that, I was working with my father. I'd go on the road. My dad was a mover. I'd get in the tractor, and I'd stay in the back, and we'd go on the road, and I'd help him move. And of course, he would pay me the money and everything else like that, which is great. I never felt I was taken advantage of. I thought it was great because I was making money. Then when I said, no, I want to get a job, even though it was a struggle for me because I didn't speak Spanish. I spoke Spanglish. But I was like, no, I need to get a job because I want to have money in my pocket to buy things I want. I didn't want to depend on anybody buying me anything. And it taught me a lot. I started working, 15, 16 years old. Walgreens, I think, was my official first job.
Mm-hmm.
We worked together. I never felt like I was
Yeah.
taken advantage of
And
or
there's
anything.
laws. Just what Color says, there's laws for underage work.
There's
It
laws,
doesn't.
but to me, I thought it was a good thing. And I still think it's a good thing when having if you're 15, 16 years old and you're capable and, if you could work, you should work. Learn that now. That's something that taught me early in life how to, not overspend, not how to overdraft, how taxes, how to do my taxes. I'm not 21 years old, 20, whatever. You move out of your parents' house and all of a sudden, you don't know how to do anything. No, I knew way before my brothers and sisters did. I've been working since that, 15 years old now. Yeah, I could technically, I have to be a certain age, but I do have a social security because I've been working. I don't see it as a taking advantage of. I know you're with me. Touch on that though. Like, what's up with that?
Look, first and foremost, I believe any way you can help this society be more proactive when it comes to jobs. Because I guarantee you, the same person that did that TikTok is one of the people that complains when they don't get the service quick enough when they go to these stores and they don't have enough employees. Because even during the pandemic, there was a times BK's, McDonald's had to close because they didn't have personnel. So if no one wants to work that job, I have no issue whatsoever with a 14 or a 15-year-old that might need that money for themselves to be able to afford certain things and still go to school. Because, like I mentioned, there are laws for 14 and 15-year-olds to work. My oldest daughter, she's 16. She's going to start working in the summer because she wants to, not out of a necessity. She wants to. So if it's not affecting your grades, if they're doing no harm, that 14 or 15-year-old, I'd rather him be working if he wants to than just be at home sitting on his phone doing nothing. Like, I understand, for example, you could be a student athlete, you can have extracurricular activities. Some kids might feel the necessity to work a few hours to even help out their parents. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have problem with, like, and Brett made a great point on Twitter. If you have problem with child labor, like you think it's child exploitation, stop wearing your Nikes. Stop wearing all the clothes you're wearing on your back. Have the shit in your house is made by a child in another country, in a foreign country, paying not living wages, and you're okay with that because it's cheaper for you. So I have a big problem with these people that they always need to have an opinion. I'm like, if you don't want the job, if that person doesn't want the job, and the job is being offered within reason, within the law, within the limitations, making sure the child is in the proper work conditions, what better way to prepare you for adulthood than earning something for which you have to work for? And it teaches you responsibility, cohesiveness, teamwork, and like just I don't understand why we've become a society where we find a problem with everything. Like, never was there a problem with a child working before. Dude, I started working at 12 years old cutting grass. Do you remember our neighbor, Eddie? Was it Eddie Clark or something? He lived on Fifth Ave. No, he lived on Sixth Ave, and his older sister went to school with us too. I started cutting grass at 12, 13 years old because I wanted to have little extra money to buy ice cream, to buy a toy, to buy whatever, to buy baseball cards. And I believe we need to motivate our children to do that. Children are entitled nowadays. They feel everything are going to be handed to them. I do believe that. I find that honestly respectful. And the fact that a 14 or 15-year-old wants to go out there and work, because you never know, they might need it. They might need it for something. So as long as you're in school, you're working the hours that you can work, there's nothing wrong with it. And nobody should have any issue with it. They're not out there performing heart surgery. They're working at McDonald's. They're working at Chick-fil-A. Things that young
Which
people are
should
good
be,
at.
and that's something where Color, I think, is coming from.
It's a starter
And
job.
that's something I thought of too, was when they were saying, oh, these places like McDonald's and so forth should be raising their making livable wages for adults to work there so they could live. It's like, to me, that wasn't a job where you're supposed to work as a career unless you move up or whatever. That's a job where a 14, 15-year-old, whether it was, Walgreens or Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, that's a startup job. That's a job where you gain experience. That's a job where you should encourage your children, which I will encourage mine, to go work, get a job, not long hours, but understand the value of money and how to save your money or how to spend your money. Like, okay, Dad, can I buy this? No, I'm not gonna buy that for you. You got money, pay for it yourself. Yeah. Then you start to realize, well, damn, that $20 went away pretty quick, or that $150 that we made that week, it went away pretty quick because I wanted to buy all this stuff. Now I'm realizing, no, man, wait, if I want to buy lunch for me tomorrow, I can't spend $150. I got to spend $20, save this money, or send this. It starts to teach you those things. That's what I think Kohler's coming from, and I agree. It's more about, and it's they're taking jobs away from the adults. Strive to be better. That's how you want to end that cycle of a person going, oh, I want that job at McDonald's. Teach your kids to have a job now, so that way they're not working at McDonald's when they're 30, 50, 60, whatever years old, or 30, 40 years old. They're working somewhere else. They've moved up. Exactly. They've got to roll somewhere else because they've learned the value of money. It keeps them off the streets. It keeps them off out of making mistakes. Because it does do that. It taught us that. And again, I'm not going to throw names or anything like that. But while you and I were working, there were other people that we knew, we grew up with. Of course, man. Friends, family, etc., that were doing stupid things with stupid decisions and things we were going, what the hell, dude?
And they're paying for it now.
Same environment, the same home, same everything. But what was the difference? You and I were working since a younger age. These people were doing other things. And the decisions they were making were not what we were making because we didn't have to go asking for money. We didn't have to find a way to sneak to get money. We were earning that money legitimately. And that's why we are where we are now. So that person there, that lady, and I don't have her name there, but who was saying all that, it's like you probably message that out onto either your
ignorant can you be, bro?
iPad, Oh, so what are you talking about?
And it bothers me so much. There are jobs that it's funny to me because there are jobs, for example, like even your baggers at Publix or Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas, wherever you guys go, they have either very young people or older people that are retired and just want to make a little money and spend the time. In our local Publix here in Doral, like there's this old guy that you can tell he's retired for years, and all he does is to go and talk to people. He bags people's groceries. He has a good time. No one else wants that job. Are you gonna have a problem that an older? Oh, you shouldn't be handling elderly because they're slower and they're doing this. First of all, it's discrimination. You can't do that. Number two, I know all these because my wife is HR, so I know all the whole book of what's wrong, what's not right, and there's no law that says that a person that young cannot work. Only is the limited hours. There's nothing wrong with this. I don't understand why we as a society, instead of fighting about all these things and finding all these problems, let's solve real issues that we have. Let's talk about real problems that we have. And it really, and you know this, man, you know this about me. It pisses me off so much when people waste my time or waste other people's times on stupidity like this. It's so stupid, bro. It is. It really is. And people make it worse, bro. People make it worse. Like things like that. And then it takes off. And then that's the thing about now it's everything about, it's trending. Like people want to trend. Like I just want to blow up. I'm like, dude, live your life, be happy. What do you have to do making a TikTok? Oh, working out 14 years old. Come on, bro. It's a 14-year-old working at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. Leave him alone. He wants to be there. He was offered the job. He took it. Plain and simple.
What were you doing at 14 years old?
That's it, man.
At home, I'm doing that, Well, no. You see, I went to school. Alex and I went to school. And what did we do after school? We went to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we did. And I remember, dude, we have stories. I mean, we worked in of course, it was harder for me because, it's with Spanish and English. Yeah. But I remember, again, we had a lot of fun. And those are memories that I enjoyed. Stock in the fridge. I remember you'd put that big, thick jacket on. You go back there to put the milk.
Do you remember that, bro?
And then you hide out for a little while because you're like, I'm going to take a little bit of break in here. I'm going to sit out here on the milk cartons. Yeah. Wait it out for 5 minutes. And remember, I'm not going to bash her. God bless her. I don't know what she's doing. Miss Ortiz, right? Was it Miss Ortiz? Who was
one of them? Was
Olga.
Was it one of our assistant managers? Yeah.
Remember her? Oh, what a pain in the ass. Yeah. God bless her though. But dude, remember that shit? Oh, crap.
We had great managers, and then we had bad managers. We had lazy managers.
Yeah.
That's something that it's and it's funny because my work ethic obviously come with my parents, and I saw that. But there was a supervisor in Walgreens, Edie's. I don't ever remember her. She was Nicaraguense. She was Nicaraguan, and she was like the right hand person of the store manager. Which at that time, our store
You're,
manager. Did you ever meet her?
who?
Our store manager. You know, she was out. She was getting cancer treatment. She was
Yeah,
getting
yeah, the
radiation.
one that what's his
Miss
face took
Filamo.
over, right?
Oh no, well, Mr. Was it Gennaro? Gennaro? He
Yeah,
came as a EXA, executive assistant manager, and he was running our store. But our
that's what I
actual
mean. He
store
took
manager, she
over
was
because she
out.
was out. She was out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember that.
Exactly.
I don't think I ever did meet her. I don't
Yeah,
remember
I
doing.
think you left before. You left
Yeah,
before.
I ended up moving to Melbourne in the
No,
Atlantic.
yeah.
I worked at Office Depot there. That's why that was my second job. I mean, I don't think you and I don't know. I have never stopped working since that
I've
age.
never, it's insane to me because this was so funny. I was a student athlete, so I played sports throughout high school. So my mom always told me, since I was always playing sports, I had to stay late. My parents always told me, like, look, you don't have to work right now because I wanted to get a job even before I graduated. And my mom's like, look, you don't have to get a job right now. Focus on your work, focus on getting your scholarship and all that. And I'm perfect. I busted my ass. I didn't spend money. You know us, bro. What was our spending money? Going to Little Caesars, buying
Yeah,
$5 pizza. That's it, bro. We hung out at home.
buying a
We did
game
everything
or
at home.
whatever.
That's it.
Yeah,
And we were always outside. And I'll
but
never
we had
forget.
our
I
own money.
graduated. Yeah, we had our own. I graduated. I believe it was June 1st, 2005. And I remember I was riding bike to Charlie's house. I had my little mongoose with the pegs. I'm riding. I'm like, oh, perfect. I already had the job interview before I graduated. They told me I was going to start in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, perfect. I have 2 weeks. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to chill. I'm going to have a good time, go to the beach, this and that, and then I'll go to work. I got called June 2nd at 9:30 in the morning, the day after graduating. It's like, Alex, we have an opening. Can you come in, please, so you can fill in? I'm like, yeah, sure. I just made a U-turn on my bike, hauled ass home, showered, and went to work. Since that day, I have not stopped working. Only maybe for a vacation, once every 2 years or something like that. And obviously now I work on my own, but I haven't stopped. And it just creates something for your kids that you want to have a better future for them. And you want to leave it in them, not just give them money. People have this thing about you want to leave your kid. No, you want to teach your kids and have that experience and set them up the right way in life, just like our parents try to set us up. And it starts like that. You got to fully support your kid if they want to work.
There you
You
go.
see, there you go, right
And
there.
Anthony talking about working in Cutler Ridge at the go kart track, and Anthony brought up a good point because, and I saw what he was writing earlier, and we were
Yeah,
rolling, and we're let's see. He says when the jobs that these people are doing are jobs today, no American wants to do, and they have the nerve to complain. Yeah, and you know what though,
a
it's not the
hundred percent.
it's because it's easy for them to do that. It's like, oh, I don't have that job because the kids are taking it or Mexicans are taking it. It's just easy to say it. It's a cop
Always.
out. You weren't going to get that damn job. You don't want to do that. You rather work and live off the government and do all that. That's what you really want to do. You don't want to be actually the hardworking person, the 14-year-old kid who decides to go work. The parents are not
Hmm.
forcing them to work.
No.
The jobs aren't forcing them to work there. Those kids, because I was that kid one time, wanted to work. I wanted that money. I didn't want to depend on asking my mother or my father or anybody else for money. I wanted to have my own check. I wanted to be able to, if Alex told me, hey, let's go to a movie or let's go do this. I had my own money to go do it. And that's why I'm where I am, and I could be better. Everybody could do better. Alex is where he is
Yeah.
because I believe that's what we instilled in ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what these kids are doing. So good on them. Tough on those other people. You want that job? Go try to apply for that job. But you're probably working at home trying to make a TikTok or living with your parents,
Yeah.
in your
And
grandma's basement somewhere.
which kind of looks like your backdrop right now.
Yeah, this is where they usually are. They're on their computers typing on Facebook. Oh, I could have that job. It's like whatever. Now, I'm not in the basement. First of all, I'm outside.
But to me, it really bothers me because we're supposed to be promoting this youth. Like the youth is the
Absolutely.
future. Like why instead? You know what really pisses me off? Just the fact that when something is going on right now, Bob, whether good or bad, people's number one thing is automatically take out their phones and record it.
Yep.
I'm like that genuinely bothers the shit out of me because I'm like, there's nothing genuine about that moment. Like you could be having something amazing. I'm not talking about capturing a picture for a memory. I understand that, but you could something like that could be happening. Like your first thing is I'm gonna ridicule it or I'm gonna criticize it, and I'm like, why are we engraved that way? Like, why have we resorted to that? Even people getting their ass kicked, bro. People get their phones and record it. What about help them out? What about say something, intervene, talk it out? No, it's like, oh, I'm gonna record it. Oh my God, I'm gonna post this. Yeah, this is so cool. Like, that's just, maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just an old soul, but it really bothers me how superficial we become with everything. And then these points of attack, like we're just repeating shit. Like at this point, we're just repeating narratives over and over and over across the board. I'm talking about absolutely everything. And I know your part of town right now is a shit show with certain things going on. Obviously, we're not going to get political, but like the behavior across the board in this country with our youth at times and all that is out of hand.
Yeah, Anthony, I saw that, man. Yeah, about the go-karts. I think it's great. Get back to it so I could see. My first two jobs when I started high school before I moved to Sarasota, when I lived in Miami, we're not sure if you remember the huge go-kart track. Yeah, we talked about that, man. I think that's
That's
really cool. I do actually.
and Jim said that this is perfect. I said the same thing. I never got an allowance. I
No, I
had
never got one.
responsibilities at home. It wasn't. They weren't going to pay me to do my responsibilities. I had to play my part in my house. I had to clean up. I have to help vacuum. I have to help mop. I have to help my grandma. Like it wasn't like that's another thing. A cultural shit. Allowances. Like no, you got to teach responsibilities. You want to get paid, you work. But no, man, I've never been. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've never been a fan of those. Oh, my parents give me an allowance so I can understand what it is to pay
No,
for
my
your
allowance was
for
work.
service. No, bro. I allow you to live like George Lopez. It's like, I
Yeah,
allow you to live.
I allow you to live. But hey, we're past the hour here. Saying earlier again, you guys are watching East 10th Street Boys, straight out of Hialeah on the Finstock Sports Network. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Still true today. Yes. It could. Yes. Still say. Oh, Alex is gone. All right. This is
I'm
my
here.
show. Oh, he just son
I'm
of a.
here.
Anyway, I was about to say goodbye, but that dude's ready to go.
I'm
Damn.
back.
It is shit. But anyway, yes, and I do need a little zapper. As you can see, these
Yeah,
I don't know
man.
where these bugs are
I
coming
can
from. There's a
see that.
big ass bug here earlier. I flicked the shit out of him.
And it's weird because it's good temperature. It's not like here it's musky and rainy.
I know. I'm a little surprised. Like, and he was loud as hell. I heard him over there, and he finally showed up and laying on this table. And I see him. He kept kind of. So I just
Maybe he
flicked the
just
hell
wants to
out
be
of him.
part of the show. He wants to be part of the network.
Nah, f him. Go get a job.
And
But anyway, Alex, I'm ready to close this out, man. I
man.
I love this show. Again, guys, usually this is on Monday night, but we did it tonight. So come catch us back next Monday. Talk about everything from Dolphins, Heat. Will the Heat advance? We don't know. Alex doesn't think so. But we'll touch on all that stuff. Alex, any final thoughts or words before we close this out, brother?
No, man, just the one thing I would say, especially the times that we're living, motivate people. Don't record shit to put people down, to criticize people. Motivate people to be better. Motivate your friends, your family, and motivate yourself to be better too, and learn and continue to improve. As a society, as people, as family, we all make mistakes. I'm human, you're human, and it's part of it. What really bothers me is like our youth is really our future, and these are the examples that we're setting. And even though we're going through tough times right now, we have to create stronger individuals and hold them accountable, be responsible, and make them earn what they want. And you will have a successful future if you understand the concept of earning everything you desire. And that's just my thought on that because you brought it up, and you don't want people to lose sight of that.
Yeah. All good points. Well, John, Anthony, Color, everyone who's tuning in, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Smash that like and subscribe button. Join us again Monday night for another episode of East 10th Street Boys. Again, as you see, we talk about everything. We talk Dolphins, Heat, Panthers, Marlins. Talk about life, dude. Nothing's off the limits. Nothing's off topic. Everything's on the table. We appreciate you all. Again, I know John Santos is working on, and again, I keep messing this up. I'm trying to remember the name, the show that
John,
he
can you
is.
put the name? Can you put the name of
Yeah,
what
I'm
we're
trying to
working on,
remember now,
please?
and I hate to back out just to go see it. I think it's the
Because
wedding game. Is it the newlywed game? The newlyweds,
is it the master?
something like that. For the wives will be a part of that. Alex's wife will wear a mask. Mine's, I'm sure, will just have nothing. I mean, then she'll have something, just not a mask. And
Like,
that type
whoa,
of show.
what type of show are we running here?
Yeah, no.
It's gonna
But
get
anyway,
fun.
thank you all for tuning in. Smash the like and subscribe button. Join us next Monday night, and we'll see you
The
then. If you're a
newly-
Dolphins fan, fins up.
Newlywed
Newlywed
game.
game. Okay, good. All right, there you are. All right, guys.
That's a lot of
thank
names
you.
there.
I know, yeah. He's just going to town? Okay, there you go. All right, everybody. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace out.